be ham radio operators. It allows us to get better at log checking and reporting with that quick turnaround time of doing the analysis of the logs, and allows us to also look at how we rank
ham
the
radio
operators. Well, I've got
It allows us to get better at log checking and reporting with that quick turnaround time of doing the analysis of the logs.
I can hear myself coming back
allows us
with
to
also
also
look at
how
how
we
we
rank
rank
ham radio operators.
Well, I've got
It allows us to get better at log checking and reporting with that quick turnaround time of doing
The second I went
analysis
live
of
on
the
YouTube,
logs.
and now I'm
I
getting
can hear
feedback
myself
also.
coming back
allows us
with
to
also
also
look at
how we rank ham radio operators.
Well, I've got
It allows us to get better at log checking and reporting with that quick turnaround time of doing
The second I went
analysis
live
of
on
the
YouTube,
logs.
and now I'm
I
getting
can hear
feedback
myself
also.
coming back
allows us
with
to
also look at how
we
we
rank ham radio operators.
I'm just going to QRX here
It
for a
allows
second.
us to get better at log checking and reporting with that quick turnaround time of doing
The second I went
analysis
live
of
on
the logs.
YouTube, and now I'm
I
getting
can hear
feedback
myself
also.
coming back with also look at how
we rank ham radio operators.
I'm just going to QR.
Okay. So
Are we okay?
that was exciting. All right, I apologize, Mark. This is a comedy of errors. So we are back. We're back to you.
Okay, and you can hear me real time.
Yes.
Okay, great. And the WRTC event is also there to encourage the growth of radio sport in general. So, and that particularly for youth, young adults, and regions of the world that are underrepresented in radio sport. So it's an international global event. A bit on the history, I mentioned it takes place every 4 years, which is usually the case, but sometimes there are some exceptions. But this just shows the history of the program. So it started off in Seattle in 1990, has gone around the world to Slovenia, Finland, Brazil, Russia, back to the US in 2014, Germany in 2018, and more recently the Italian effort in 2023, which was delayed 1 year, and now back in Europe again in 2026 this year in the United Kingdom for the very first time for the 10th WRTC. So we're delighted to be hosting the event. This is the team. So along the top row, that's the organising committee. We have a great team who are very busy. And then we also have a number of support teams supporting the committee and interfacing with the sanctioning committee. So just like the Olympics, there is a sanctioning committee that oversees the host operations. And that sanctioning committee consists of key members of every WRTC that get elected every 4 years. So how do you come to operate a WRTC? Well, there is a qualifying program over about 1.5 to 2 year period, whereby the more popular, busy HF competitions allow operators to gain points by performing well. All of those events are now complete. In fact, the last one was the ARRL DX SSB contest, which was almost a year ago. And now we know who all of the operators, the qualified operators, are. The world's broken down into a number of areas. Each area has, in some cases, many DXCC countries that makes it up, and the highest scoring operators in the contest from these areas get invited to be a team leader at WRTC. So you can see that each WRTC organising committee has to define what the areas are, which countries make up those areas, and then how many team places are on offer for those areas. So having gone through all of that process over the past couple of years, we know that these are our operators. So each team leader is permitted to select a teammate to operate with them. The only criteria for that is that those teammates must have scored 3,000 points, 3,000 WRTC points in the qualification. So here we have all of our teams that are from all around the world. You'll see that there are some other teams that are non-geographic over here. We've got the previous champions from WRTC 2022, Yuri and Yarek are coming back. And then we have 4 youth teams, and by that we mean that they would need to be the age of 26 years or under at the time of the contest. So it's great that we've got 8 youth operators there. And then we have 2 sponsored teams which are coming, and then 1 wild card, which is a position that we offer to somebody that did extremely well in the qualification, but for whatever reason didn't end up making a team leader spot. So that went to Diego, LW5HR from Argentina. And we've also been through a recruitment process for referees that will be assigned to all the 50 teams. And here we've got a very nice spread of international referee participation, as you can see. So delighted with the response that we had on the referee interest. I mentioned youth. So there are 8 operators in the youth teams, but we also have some youth operators being selected as teammates from other team leaders. And here you can see that DL3ON has been selected as the teammate of DL3JAN, and then Sven DJ4MX has been selected as the teammate of E77DX. So we have 10 plus youth operators, which is absolutely fantastic to see. Here we have our sponsored teams, Adrian KO8SCA and Cesar SP5Y. So I mentioned that WRTC is there to eliminate the variables and set a level playing field. So how do we do that? And just to recap, it's to provide a platform for high-achieving ham radio contestants to compete on a level playing field in the same geographic region using identical antennas, output power, and other operating conditions. So here are some pictures from Russia in 2010 and Boston 2014, and the organizers of those events chose to operate portable in the field. So they set up 60 to 65 identical stations looking just like this. In Germany in 2018, again, the teams decided portable operation, and they chose to use spider beam and dipole antennas for the low bands. In Italy, so there was a challenge for the organizers of Italy with all the flooding conditions that were experienced in 2023. But they were able to successfully find sites at a number of buildings, B&Bs, those kind of establishments. And here you can see some examples. Russia 2010 was a very sort of, I guess, kind of changed the way a little bit, the way it was run, in that they went portable and they chose to look at this cluster arrangement rather than having a very widespread. So you can see, actually, it's quite useful to see the airfield in the top right there. You can see roughly the sort of area we're talking about, but having the equipment separated, having the station separated by 500 meters minimum allows them to be clustered, and that helps with deployment logistics, deployment of volunteers, spares, and access to the sites. And we can get away with 500 meters because remembering that they're running barefoot, they're just 100-watt stations. So the interference is manageable. We selected the southeast of the UK. So we have 50 sites with 5 spare in the region known as East Anglia, which is very flat and ideal terrain for WRTC. We have our HQ venue, which is where everybody will assemble before and after the contest, and that's located a little bit to the west of the operating sites. And also, being in the southeast of the UK, it provides excellent access for transportation, international transport through London airports. The sites are all located around the town of Thetford, which is just inside Norfolk, beyond the Suffolk border. And you can see that the squared areas, the box areas identified on the map here, are where our clusters will be located. And they really have been selected within some estates, some very large estates that we have developed a very good relationship with, which is perfect because not only does it allow us to have equal conditions being so close, as I mentioned, the management is a lot and the logistics is a lot more favorable, but also we get a level of security as well inside the estates. This is Euston Estate, which is kind of the central part of all of those, and you can see that's the estate there, and it has a lot of land surrounding it. This is an area, a shot showing the area, which you can see how flat it is. It's perfect for what we were looking for. Any further west, closer to the headquarters, starts to introduce some hilly conditions, so it's not really what we want. So how do we verify these sites? Well, we are able to do some analysis through HF terrain analysis to look at how that is likely to perform. We can get SDR plotting, and we can do measure signals through the reverse beacon network just to have a look at how they compare, and we're able to eliminate any that are wildly different to the others. We also need to have acceptable 4G or 5G data provision, so that we've got an ability to communicate back to headquarters and upload the logs QSO by QSO. So on the site testing, we actually did a WRTC trial run with 5 stations in the IARU contest last July in the Euston Estate area. So that was great and went very well. We were able to do some good analysis from that. I'll come on to some of that in a little while. We've made the logs public so that operators coming to the UK who can have never maybe operated here before have the ability to understand the propagation to expect. There's some shots here of some of the hardware, which the majority of it we actually acquired from the Italian WRTC. It came in on a 20-foot container, as you can see on the left side of the screen. So there we have 50 Yagis provided by LZ antennas. And I have to say it was packed incredibly well in the container, so kudos to the Italian OC. Here we have the masts, so 50 very heavy-duty 3-section masts you can see on the left-hand side there, with very robust winch systems, and also the dipoles, the guys, and stakes. A very large amount of coax, so it's 3 times 50 meters of coax per station, and you can see also 50 rotators there, the Yaesu G450s, and also station computers, which gathers the QSO data from the laptops of the operators, and then some power meters as well that are there to measure output powers within the 100-watt limit. So we put 5 stations on the air in IARU 25. Here you can see the 7-element Yagi going together. So it's 3 on 10, 2 on 15, 2 on 20. Really good antennas, performed exceptionally well. Putting up the operator tent and a complete site. So there'll be 50 of these, in fact 55 of these in total, that will be assembled for the operation. We plotted the signals from the contest last year just to see, and actually we were quite surprised how consistent they were. It was very good. The higher band signals you have to take with a little bit of a pinch of salt, just because obviously you've got a rotating antenna and you never quite know the exact direction, the beaming heading of the stations at the time. And you can see G1A was actually operated by Yuri and Yarek, the previous gold champions from Italy. They came to the UK to operate a station, so we thought we'd put it up on there. They were using bigger antennas. So all the sites actually passed the test, and we were very happy with that. We've partnered with our national society here in the UK, the Radio Society of Great Britain, and working with them. They'll be present at the headquarters, and they're also providing assistance with liaising with Ofcom, our national regulator, for obtaining the call signs needed for the contest. We also have a partnership with WRL, which is the World Radio League, a US outfit actually, led by James N0 WRL. And WRL are developing a customized WRTC platform that will collect all of the QSO data and present it in a number of different ways. As I mentioned, it's led up by James N0 WRL, and World Radio League exists today, has over 40,000 users, and they've hosted over 100 ham radio contests already. This is going to be a really exciting development, I think, for WRTC, in that it will be presented live through the contest for 24 hours. There will be live commentary on that as well. So it gives it a real esports feel, so that ham radio operators around the world can feel a part of WRTC, but also those that are maybe not in ham radio that can follow it and get excited by the fun that we have in contesting. And here, this is at a very high level how it will work. So the logging computers at the operating sites will be connected through a WRTC Raspberry Pi, and then that will connect onwards to the WRL platform over the internet. So there'll be live streaming QSO data, so it won't just be total score, there'll be actual QSO data coming through. We will be maintaining no link whatsoever between the operators and the call signs they're using, because obviously we have a duty to try and eliminate cheerleading and that kind of thing. So we will not be presenting a relationship between the operators and their call sign, but there'll be an awful lot of information available. So stay tuned. There's a lot of work going on at the moment on the scoreboarding user interface, which is looking really good. Our headquarters, so this is a real key work package for us. We had to identify a venue that could accommodate around 500 people for the WRTC event. So the actual whole event runs from the Wednesday before the contest and finishes on the following Tuesday morning. So it's almost a week, the entire WRTC event. And after many venues, we finally found the right one, which is Y Boston Lakes, which is about an hour and a half north of London. We have developed a program which outlines all of the events that are taking place. There's a brochure, this brochure that you can see on the WRTC 2026 website, just to give information about the area, where it is, how to get there, some of the facilities at the headquarters, and we'll also be doing some excursions to a local Imperial War Museum, the Bletchley Park, which was used for the code breaking in the war, and also the National Radio Centre, which is run by the RSGB. Be trip to London, over to Cambridge, over to the beach at Hunstanton, and one of our castles at Warwick. So we're trying to generate a platform, a program which is appealing not only to ham radio operators, but also maybe family members, partners, and other spectators. The whole program is set out here at a high level, running from the Wednesday through to the following Tuesday morning. More details here on what's happening at the event. We've got the Ham Widows Ball, which is kind of a WRTC tradition, which is provided by Yasmi. That'll be great fun for people to go along to. We're going to be having an opening and a closing ceremony, kind of Olympic style, and we're expecting up to around 500 people attending the closing ceremony, where we will go through the results of the competition. Some more information here on the event, costings, etc., day tickets, lunch tickets, etc. So anyone's interested, contact us on the details on the website. Volunteers is a big part. I know that this is always been a concern when organisers set off to run a WRTC. Getting people to actually commit to help can be quite a challenge. We've had a lot of people step forward to help us, and we need help to build all the stations, get those ready for the operators for when they arrive, and also to actually act as station managers when the contest is taking place, to look after the station, look after the operators, and provide any help that may be needed. We also need volunteer drivers to help transport the operators and the referees to and from their sites. So there's an awful lot that goes into the event. But it's a great opportunity to make new friends and also meet fellow contesters. We've been offering out the special WRTC bronze, silver, and gold coins for donations that we've been collecting over the past 3 years. We're very grateful to everyone that's been able to help. We're on track financially. The actual overall budget for running the 2026 event is over $1 million. It's a very expensive project to run, but we're on track. We've got a final push in the last 4 months, which we're hopeful we will get there. So it says here 1 tent remaining. We do a sponsored tent program where you can sponsor a tent, but actually all of the 50 tents are now sponsored, which is superb. So all of our operator teams have sponsors for their tents, and they'll be displayed during the contest. So it's great that we've got all 50 now complete. Yaesu is our prime sponsor. We're very grateful for the donation that they have made, and also providing additional rotators and equipment for the event. So that's just wonderful. Moonraker is a large dealer distributor here in the UK. They're on board as a platinum sponsor, and our IT partner is WRL, as I mentioned. We have ongoing support from some fantastic organizations. ICOM, DX Engineering, the previous WRTC, and more recently Flex Radio have come on board. Great organizations, and we couldn't do it without their help. Momobeam and Elecraft has just come on board as a silver sponsor as well. And in fact, Flex Radio and Elecraft will be providing a fantastic piece of equipment that will be silent auctioned at the Dayton Hamvention contest dinner. So if you're thinking of going along, then a great opportunity to get your hands on some equipment. We have a number of other bronze sponsors, as you can see on the screen here. I won't go through every one, but I'm sure many of those will be familiar. Great companies that we have in this hobby and outside. Clubs. We've had great support from clubs around the world, some of them which would normally sponsor DXpeditions only, but they recognize the importance of WRTC and the things we're trying to do. So we're very grateful, and YASB and WWROF have done a tremendous job, and we're very thankful to them. And Frankfurt Radio Club, Northern California DX, CDXE, and Indexa, again, great support from them. And yeah, there are many others there as well, and it's been a real good effort of people coming together to support it. I mentioned that we're obviously a non-profit organization. A company has been set up. It's WRTC 2026 CIC, which is a community interest company. So if anyone is in a position to help us on our final push, this is the QR code that will take you direct to the WRTC website onto the donations page. If anybody is in a position to help just to make our final push on the target, that would be very much appreciated. And any contribution value is so very much appreciated. So thank you in advance to anyone that can help us. And all of the donations, all of the donors will be recognized on our website. Okay, all right. Well, hopefully that's given an overview. I know obviously some of you are probably already familiar with WRTC, some of you may not be, but hopefully that's given you an insight to what it is and what to expect in July. Even if you're not involved in contesting and maybe it's not your thing, maybe check it out and see what the WRL platform has to offer. You never know, it might just be something that you or a friend or a family member might think, you know what, that's actually really exciting. So I would encourage you to stay tuned on that. I'll pause now. Hopefully I haven't gone over on time and it gives you an opportunity to recover some time. I'll stand by for any questions.
No, you did great. Thank you very much, Mark, and I appreciate your patience as well. I'll pass the microphone around for anybody who will have any questions.
Okay. Yes, Mark, I'd like to ask if the people running this WRTC were deeply involved in the ones that have come before, or because it is in England now that it is English people instead, you're going to have to discover things yourself that was not seen before in Italy or Russia or wherever.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. The audio is not too high. I'm not sure if it's coming through that microphone or not, but anyway, it's fine. I got the question. Yes. So we think it's really important that from the outset we had the ability to call on the experience of others, and in fact, we've had a great relationship with people on the sanctioning committee. So Doug K1DG, for instance, Chris DL1MGB, who was the chairman of the Germany effort in 2018. We've been working with them from the very beginning, and anything that we stumble across where we think, you know what, I don't know about that, we need some guidance, I go direct back to the sanctioning committee and they can offer us advice, and they've been there and done it. So it's great to be able to call on them. And also, we established an advisory committee, which is a group of about 7 or 8 people that have been contesting for a lot longer than I have, and whenever we have some some challenges that maybe we wouldn't go to the sanctioning committee for, but it's more about sort of the project management and decisions on that we need to make on running the event, we ask them. They come on a call with us, our committee meetings. Now it's going to be once a month. So yes, we feel like we've got great support and a good link with previous events.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
So where did the idea come to have the WRC hosted with the WRL? Was that something that the WRC came up with, or was that something that Andy and the guys presented? How did that relationship start?
That actually was a couple of Daytons ago. I think it was probably Dayton 2023 or 24, probably 2024. I got talking to a couple of guys. I mean, I had not heard of WRL, so there was a bit of a learning curve there. But we had a really inspiring conversation at Dayton where we were able to explain what we were looking for. They were also explaining what they were interested in developing WRL to become, and they basically both completely aligned. And also James from WRL, for those that haven't met him, I mean, he's a really inspiring guy. He's a young guy, and I would encourage you maybe to try and seek them out at Dayton for those that are going, because what they're doing is fantastic stuff for ham radio in general. They also run something called Ham Radio Prep, where they're supporting people getting their licenses and that whole education piece. So the values that WRL have perfectly align with what the WRTC 2026 effort is looking to achieve. So far, I have to say they have not let us down, because everything is coming together superbly. We were able to trial that WRL platform last July. We also trialed it during CQ Worldwide last October, and we'll be doing another one coming up shortly in one of the contests in the next month. So yeah, it's all going very well, and I have every faith in the WRL team.
Yeah, I became aware of them, and I started following them, and I log into the live streams with on YouTube every now and again with Andy and James every now and again, and it is absolutely fascinating to me that the amount of effort and the amount of work that they are able to complete, that team can complete in such a short period of time, and their absolutely meteoric um, just accomplishments as far as providing services through the website and just the apps and the PC platform and everything. And I know that when I presented the WRL to the club here at Ranvi, they when I told them that they were partnering with the WRC or with you guys, that was a huge eye opener for a lot of the older guys because they were like, well, maybe these aren't just young upstarts. Maybe there's something to it. So I know that I'm excited, looking forward to July to follow it on WRL and, like you said, to add that whole modern sporting aspect to it. I think is going to be really cool to see everything in real time.
Yeah,
So
I think you're absolutely right. And there were a lot of people early on that were coming to us saying, "Who are these guys? Are you sure?" You know, but they're just proving day on day that they're up to the job. So yeah, we're really excited with this new look for contesting.
do you use the WRL in any other way, shape, or form? Do you any park activations or soda or just any general logging or contesting with them?
Yeah, personally, no. I don't know if anyone in the room does, but no, personally, I don't. But once I get WRTC out of the way, maybe I'll have some time to to play around with some of that.
I'm sure that's probably very involved.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone else in the room have any questions or anything for Mark?
Oh, I'd like to ask, please, does each team get a good, generous amount of time to set up and confirm that the station is working like it ought to? And would you perhaps delay a start time if one of the 50 stations didn't have what all the other 49 had? Or how do you handle things when if something is not working right at all 50 locations?
That's a beautiful point. Well, the teams will be deployed to their random site. So the teams will draw 3 envelopes, right? One for their site, one for their call sign, and one for their referee. So they have no idea who, with, when they're going. So once they've done that, they then pick up a pack and they get deployed to their site. They have the Friday before the contest to set up, test everything, make sure it's all okay. And bearing in mind the contest will begin at midday on Saturday, that gives them, kind of 24 hours to get comfortable. Once they've got set up, they will then travel back to headquarters. So that then it should be that they can go straight out on the Saturday morning to operate, and everything should be working. Obviously, we're in contesting. That doesn't always happen. And as we're seeing today, I was getting the feeling like there's a contest about to start when we had these technical problems, because that's what always happens. So there are some circumstances where we might disable certain functions. I mean, the WRTC contest takes place within an existing contest. So it's the IARU HF Championship. So that will start at 12 Zulu to 12 Zulu on the Sunday. Now, that won't change. We're not going to take everybody off the air if one team has a technical problem. That is, down to that team to manage as best they can. They'll have the support of station managers and their referee to help them should that happen. One example I'll give of what we will do is WRL will be running this thing whereby on sideband, once they make 3 QSOs on the same frequency, they will be spotted on the cluster. Obviously, with CW, it's not so much an issue because the reverse beacon network automatically picks that up. Now, if one station goes offline, they lose their connection, and therefore there's not the ability for the spot to happen on sideband. Then we'll disable that functionality for all 50 teams, and they won't have the spotting function on sideband. That's just an example of how we will implement some consistency through some technical issues. But in terms of actually delaying the start of the contest, no, we can't do that. The contest has to start when it starts and then when it ends.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Last call. Anybody have any other questions or comments for Mark? No? All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Mark. We appreciate it. And it looks like it's at least daylight outside over there, so that's good.
Yeah, we've probably got another 20 minutes or so before the sun goes down. So
Oh, perfect. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, getting late.
Well,
But I
thank
wish
you,
you all a
Mark.
very I wish you all a very happy convention, and hope to see some of you at Dayton in May.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. 7-3.
7-3.
Yes, what did it turn out today?
7-3.
Oh, yes. Yeah, thank you for your patience with the audio problems, Mark. We did our best.